Hello, YouTube friends. It's Tracy with CRRV. Tonight, I want to talk about something a little different than what I normally talk about on my channel. Thursday, the 7th, one of my co-workers, got a call that he had been expecting for a while. His father had passed away. Now, I've known this employee since he was a little boy. And before that, I knew his father as well. He worked for us for 25 years. So, we know the family very well. So once he got this call, immediately, as soon as I could wrap up what I was doing at work, I left and made an emergency run to the grocery store to pick up some ingredients to make food to take to the family members. So while I was doing this, Brett, my husband, he called, and I told him what had happened and what I was doing, and he wanted to know why I was feeding them. This may just be something we do in the South. I don't know. I kind of think that it's something that's done across the country and maybe even the world. If taking food to the bereaved, grieving family members of the deceased is something that you do in your area, let me know, because it kind of it raised a bunch of questions for me as I was doing this. The only thing that I could think of to tell Brett at the time why I was doing it was because if you live in the South, that's what you do. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the reasons why we do it, and some of the tips that you should bear in mind, and some good things that you can take to the bereaved family members. So, first of all, let's go tackle that question of why we do it. In the South, it is something commonly done. I know that when my own dad died, the house filled up with people instantly, and they all brought a dish of some kind. I believe that it shows respect and concern for those family members who are in a state of grief at the moment, and it shows that you care for their well-being. Another thing that it helps with is out-of-town family members who might be showing up to pay their respects, or other members of the community who show up to pay their respects. You have something to offer them when they come into your home. And it also eliminates one big concern that the surviving family members have. They may be too grief-stricken to cook. They may be, that may be the very last thing on their mind. They may be too grief-stricken to eat. But if they choose to, there will be something there for them to eat. And it also gives the family, like I said, something to offer the visitors when they come in to pay their respects. So that's about why we do it. Let's give you some tips about what to expect and when you do take your gift of food to the bereaved. When you take your dishes in, try to put them in something disposable. If you've taken it on your grandmother's best piece of china and you expect to get it back, make sure that your name is clearly marked on there somehow, some way, so that the family members will know who to give the dish back to. And honestly, it would be better if you plan on picking up the dish yourself if it's something that needs to be returned. That's why I always try to make sure I take mine in disposable tin pans or something that I don't need to get back. When you take them food, try to be sensitive to food allergies, and if you're aware that they have any, and to their personal preferences. Like if you know that they're a vegetarian family, you wouldn't want to take a chicken dish over to them. If you know that they're Muslim, you certainly wouldn't want to take them pork. Or if they're Hindu, beef is definitely off the menu. So try to be sensitive to those needs as well. You need to call and let them know you're on your way. You don't want to just show up unannounced and them not be there, and leave food sitting out, where animals could get to it. And when you do call, know that they very well may refuse your kind-hearted offer, not to be rude, but out of politeness, actually. When I called my co-worker and said, look, I'm on my way, I'm going to call you and find out when is a good time, but I've already been to the grocery store, the first thing that he said was, you don't have to do that. Well, no, I know that I don't have to do that, but I want to do it. And then he understood that it was something that I was doing out of respect for them, and that it wasn't putting me out to do this for them. I wanted to do it. So be expected to be turned down if when you call, but let them know, and more than likely they will be thankful for your gift. Bring something that is easy to freeze or refrigerate, or something that will last on the countertop for 2 or 3 days, because chances are, if you live in the South, there's going to be a lot of food brought in. So you want something that they don't have to go to a lot of trouble to either reheat or store for a few days. And also, when you show up to drop the food off, don't plan on staying. If they invite you in, that's one thing, but don't plan on it, because they're in a bad place right now. They need their time. They need their time to accept what's happened, and so you don't want to be. Your intentions are to help them, not to put them out in any way. So now we've discussed why, we've discussed some tips, and the last thing I want to talk about is maybe what to bring. It is not necessary to bring a whole meal. If you want to, of course, that's fine, but you certainly don't have to. Casseroles are absolutely wonderful to take. You've got your meat, you've got your vegetables, you've got everything that you need in that one dish. So if they ate that and nothing else, they would have that would be an entire meal. Soup is always good. It's a good comfort food. It's easy to heat up, and so that soup is always something good to bring. We've got deli trays and breads and stuff like that, chips, stuff like that, so that the visitors can make sandwiches, or the family members can make sandwiches for themselves. Veggie and fruit trays, desserts. We got desserts galore. When my dad died, we had probably 40 desserts sitting on the counter. Another thing to think about is, if you don't have time to prepare the food, if that's not something that you feel comfortable doing, you can always take them plates, paper plates, silverware, disposable silverware, napkins, cups, stuff like that, ice, that they can use in serving the food that others bring. And also, don't forget breakfast items. You might think of a grits casserole or some kind of breakfast casserole. Even a basket of croissants with jam and butter. You're looking things. You get them several meals, so that they don't have to think about cooking breakfast either. Because that's one that even cereal and milk. That is just something that doesn't get thought of a lot. And finally, one of the last things that I would suggest, one of the easier things that I would suggest, is a gift card to a local pizza parlor. Stop by Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever you've got in your area that's close to them, and say, here for when you need it. Here's a coupon. Here's a gift card for this pizza shop. I know in the South, a lot of the dishes that we see, you're going to see Jell-O mold somewhere in the mix. There's going to be a Watergate salad, macaroni and cheese, deviled eggs, potato salad. I've heard of funeral potatoes, but that's not something that we call it down here in the South. I think that may be a Midwest thing. And then you've got, your regional food, enchiladas. If you're living in the Midwest, you may be looking at some people that like tacos or enchiladas or burritos. If you're living in the South, pretty much anything goes. So, just bear those things in mind as well. So, that's all I have to say tonight about people and taking food to families who are grieving the loss of a loved one. So, if you do this, then please comment in the section below. If it's not something you do, let me know that too. I just am curious about who and how this. I really would like to know how it even came about. But if you know, please let me know. And we'll talk to you soon on CRRV.